And Mark, I'm going to forgive you because at least you're wearing the shirt.
I am wearing the shirt. I'm sorry that I was a little late, but I am wearing the shirt.
Dennis Trusty talking about his new big boy job at working security. Shout out to Security Trusty. I mean, Trusty is his last name, so
Yeah, he should be trustworthy, right?
yeah. Shout out, keep pounding, saying Gamine was who we thought she was. Big shout out to the nice little saver pick 4 hit for a couple G's there. Keep pounding. So big
I will
shout out
say
to
that
keep pounding.
also the one thing I did get on the right on the stream last night was the fact that Gamine was distance compromised. I just didn't have the right horse that was going to pick her off.
She was distance compromised, and she had the track completely playing against her. Like, the horse needed to save ground, and it was a bad rail.
Look, I just knew that the Daredevil filly was going to win. So
yeah, because when I think of classic distances, I think Daredevil.
Well, when you watch the Turkish Derby in about 3 years, you will be seeing Daredevil Colt and the Turkish Oaks with the Daredevil fillies. And Mike, of course, calling us our tardiness. I'm going to blame that squarely on Mark. But yeah, we are on the wrong lead. I know we kind of just jumped right into that. We are going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Oaks Day. Obviously, if you guys listened and watched us yesterday, things did not go entirely as planned today. I started off the day with a nice 2 disqualifications in a real short period of time. So that was really cool. Really made me feel great about the Kentucky Stewards once again. Pretty much on almost the exact same day as last year. So shout out to the Kentucky Stewards there. Chase, you did connect on some nice plays there with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I just from watching the races early and then kind of looking back at the results and looking at post positions, made a kind of an early realization that that rail was dead. And like right before that race ran, I was planning on playing something in Wisconsin because it was the contrarian pick with good daily double odds. So I managed to play like a 3x1 daily double and hook it in Wisconsin. But I sent Caleb a message right before. I was like, okay, the rail's dead. The 1 is going to need to go like hell to clear this field and get off that rail. The 7's going to be going like hell with them. It's fucking Wisconsin time. And it came in, and I was pretty happy with that. Outside of that, though, I mean, I felt like I had some great opinions and just really kind of missed the mark execution-wise. But, live and learn. It didn't kill me.
Mark.
Yeah. I'm more mad at myself in the fact that I wanted to put a spready contrarian sort of pick 5 on, and Josh gave me some shit and was like, "Dude, if you're gonna put one on, like spread out the Oaks. You might as well buy the rest in some sort of way, shape, or form." And had I listened to Josh, it would have been a really good day, but it was not.
Well, I mean, I also singled the 1 in that Wisconsin race and got knocked out of everything immediately. So. I think we all made some mistakes. Caleb, I know you're perfect, but you even pointed out she dares the devil, so surely you played her in some way, shape, or form today.
I played her on my sheet on my paper sheet. But no,
as usual, making other people money, and that's like tale as old as time for you there, Caleb.
Yeah, no, that was I just couldn't put enough together today. I didn't have enough tickets with Wisconsin on it, and I did have a ticket with Wisconsin. I had a ticket with She Dares the Devil, but they were both kind of saver tickets, and I didn't have them on the same one. My best opinions were generally right, but they were also generally chalky with by my standards and Monomoy Girl and sharing. But unless you want to cash a $7 pick 3 and just absolutely crush it, there wasn't a whole lot you could have done there. So yeah, just not the greatest day for me. I always kind of go into these things, on big days with the predisposition of 3-year-old fillies, or generally where you get some mayhem and where you get some craziness. And for some reason, those were the races I didn't spread enough in, and those were the 2 races where you had the upsets. probably should have not tried as hard to beat the horse like Sharing or a horse. Well, I mean, she's a filly, but it's turf. Tried not to beat so hard to beat a horse like, By My Standards or whoever else. Taking the classy older horses and then maybe spread in the 3-year-old filly races where there's generally a little more calamity. But you live and you learn.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, it's one of those days that in hindsight, you look back and you're like, nothing was really that hard there. I mean, that late pick 5 wasn't that hard. We talked about the fact that the 2 speeds could hook up in the first leg. And if it fell apart, the horse that inherits it was the 5, who exactly what happened. The 2 of them went stupid on the front end. It fell apart and they inherited it. One of us should have been smart enough. Well, I mean, Chase obviously did have it, but one of us should have been smart enough to structure a pick 5 that got there. And then, in the Oaks, there's always that factor of these 3-year-old fillies that there's calamity, and none of us were quite smart enough to take advantage of it. So, I mean, it was one of those days where my very good opinions were right. I didn't put plays in place to leverage up my very good opinions, and I don't know what that By My Standards over Monomoy Girl double would have played, but instead of trying to get cute and fire and do stuff, I probably should have just played like a $200 or $300 daily double that was just straight those 2, and yeah, you get back $6, but hey, that's you can't really bitch about that. That was your best opinions and you didn't leverage them, and that's just what I did today.
Good job, Chase. So I'm just looking in chat. I know. So John Massey saying he had pick 4, pick 3, and he had win show on the 7. So nice hits there. I know Mike had a pretty decent day. I think he hit the pick 6 a couple times. Shout out, keep pounding.
Can I throw out there? I know Mike is a very smart guy. I heard his handicapping. I heard the podcast. But why the fuck are you playing a goddamn jackpot wager on a chalk fest like today? Why are you eating that takeout when you could have played the pick 5, the pick 4, a pick 3, anything else? Why are you doing that, man? Why? Stop incentivizing plays
Chase,
that are anti-player. It's
Chase,
just terrible. It's horrible.
Chase, this is your time to jump in. What's your favorite saying, Chase?
Takeout doesn't matter.
Hey, does it? I actually, like I said, I was talking to Mike earlier, and he had asked, is it a force out tomorrow?
It would be on things like the pick 6. It's not going to be on other wagers. The 2-day pick 6 is a force out. It's going to be a mandatory payout. But their meet continues on. So things like
they're just not running on. They're just
no. It's Kentucky Jesus, and they don't run on Sundays.
Interesting. Okay. So I was wrong, Mike. It doesn't cash out, but Mike also had the pick 5 twice, so.
But it would be a force out on things like any of the gimmicks, so the 2-day daily doubles, the 2-day pick 3s, the 2-day pick 6s. Those would be force outs because those are specific to the Derby sequences.
Oh, they go to Kentucky Downs. Yeah, that's right. I think, I think Churchill comes back for like a week or 2, don't they? I think that's what it is. It's something messed up. But I didn't know if it was a force out or not.
Wait, is it a short meet then Kentucky Downs then back?
I think so.
Okay, maybe it is force out. I assumed.
I heard that it was on the stream, but like on the live feed, but I haven't seen anything about it, so I don't know. But I feel like I heard like just on the one of the announcers say that it was a mandatory pick 6 tomorrow, and I don't know if he was referring to the second half of the 2-day one. That's a little confusing if he was, but I don't know.
That very well could be my bad then.
It is. Yep, mandatory payout tomorrow.
Well, I'm an idiot.
Also, just so you guys know, apparently no parole is scratched tomorrow. He's
Really?
going to be pointing to the grade 2 Phoenix.
And I actually didn't like no parole, so that takes me off the hook. There.
Yeah, I didn't like him either, and that's frustrating.
I just was looking.
I was checking. Someone told me horologist was going to scratch, and that was less than true.
I'm having quite the day, man, or the last 24 hours. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mike, don't worry. He's just really salty this week or today, specifically today. I think we all at one point. Caleb somehow, as usual, stays out of the line of fire because he's just got like I don't know. He's just got like
I
what's
take
that?
it out on other people.
He's got that Crisco or that Pam or whatever that stuff that the running backs put on their jerseys on, and just fucking avoids all that shit. But yeah, let's. I took a look at Ed DeRosa's Twitter, and it looks like it is a force out, and then someone shared that no parole was scratching. So I think it was Maggie Moss who tweeted it out. So she said to respect all the handicappers. So shout out to Maggie Moss. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this American turf. All right, we got a mile and 16th on the turf for 3-year-olds, which has been just like the greatest division of all time the past couple of years. And we got a lot of speed signed up in this race. I pretty much landed on Field Pass here, and I mean a couple others to use, I guess. I don't even know. It's like all the horses I like in this race are speed horses, and then Field Pass.
Wait. Josh liked a bunch of speed horses? I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Well, how could that ever happen?
All the horses I like were speed passes. I know. Go figure. Or speed horses. So I actually ended up something kind of funny. I think I had Field Pass here as a lone A, and then I did use if I were to A B kind of structure my tickets, I did have both the 5 Smooth Like Straight and the 8 as B's, and I want to use Caleb's favorite horse of all time, the 2 American Butterfly, a little bit as a B as well, mostly off of a pedigree play. Although I know our boy Andy Serling will tell me that American Pharaoh is not a turf sire. But that's kind of how I landed on this. I'm just really afraid that there's just way too much speed here, and it's just going to set up really nicely for Field Pass. But Mark, how did you kind of see this one?
I didn't love Field Pass in here, but I do agree with you. I think the pace probably does more than likely set up for Field Pass. I like Smooth Like Straight quite a lot in here. Coming off 2 straight wins, horse really loves the winner's circle and likes Churchill Downs. And I think, Genevieve has been riding phenomenal down in Kentucky. And the other horse that I thought was pretty neat in here was Fancy Liquor, which is probably the most hunch art stream horse ever. But I really like Fancy Liquor, albeit a horse that is definitely stepping up in class here, but has seemed to be pretty well the last few. And also, I know you mentioned a couple of the horses on like American Butterfly. I think both Trash Can and American Butterfly in here are super, super interesting. You see 2 horses, the 1 and 2 posts. There's no absolute monster in here. There's no horse that blows you away. And both Trash Can and American Butterfly are clearly turf horses. They just have been run on dirt a bunch because that's where the money is. I think, I think both those 2 are super, super interesting. And I kind of want to build doubles around them because I think you're going to get a price because they've both been, pretty meh. And getting back on the actual proper surface, I think there's that huge potential for a step up, and they're super interesting in here.
Yeah, I see it. Really, I see it the same way as Josh. I love Field Pass here. I just think the pace setup really makes sense for him. Coming from off the pace, you could make an argument that every other horse in this race does their best running on the lead, even if they're not inherently need the lead kind of horses. And I think Field Pass just gets, the trip that he wants, sitting kind of behind the speed, let them go. He's probably my lone A. I'm not too worried about the last race. It doesn't look great, but I'm kind of wondering if maybe a mile and 3/16 was just a little bit too far, a little farther he wants to go. And that was actually a pretty loaded race. I mean, it's a listed stakes race, but you had a Domestic Spending, a Chad Brown horse. You had a Gufo and Decorated Invader, both in that race. It was a pretty loaded race, easily on the same level as this race, I would say, and if not, probably a better field entirely. The horses I'm interested in beyond that, it's probably just kind of thrown a net for me. Is which speed horse could rate or get loose. If this was Naira, I would fully expect one of these speed horses to send and all the other ones to rate, and we'd be looking at like a 50-second half mile. But being in Kentucky, I'm hoping I can trust the jocks to actually send their speed. And yeah, I guess of the speed horses that interest me the most, it would be the 5 Smooth Like Straight, and then the horse that I hate more than anybody, American Butterfly. The 2. I think he's finally getting to the right surface and the right distance. Like if you look at this pedigree, it just screams to me, grass and 2 turns. I don't know what's taken them so long to try this, but it looks like they're finally putting him where I think he's going to be successful. He has kind of turned into a bit of a hanger. Doesn't like to win very much and really likes to settle for second quite a bit. But I do think that he's an interesting price, and he doesn't really need the lead. It wouldn't surprise me if he's on it on the stretch out here, but I'd like to see him maybe just sit a little bit off and then get first run on Field Pass maybe and be able to hold him off. But yeah, those are the 2 horses I'm probably most interested in.
So, one moment.
Well, you're one momenting. I apologize for the midstream fist bump, and that was Ravioli winning his 3rd turf win on the day, a big 3 for 3, and me maybe having some win money on that horse. Today's turning around, so this is better.
That knocked me out of a pick 3. So one more moment.
Oh yeah, you can drink a little more. I'm sorry, but you didn't use Turf Jesus on the turf. What were you thinking?
Also, big shout out to Polka Dot Taylor. This is some of the Midsummer Night's Dram that he sent me in his little sample care package. So thank you, Polka Dot Taylor. I want American Butterfly, period, full stop, in that race. Watching the turf today, sure, there's a lot of speed entered, but it looked pretty speed favoring, and I feel like he's going to be able to, or is it she?
He.
I feel like she's going to. Butterflies are such fucking feminine things. I feel like he's going to be able to sit right behind that early speed. He's going to have first run at it. I didn't see anybody make any huge closes on the turf today, so I feel really good about American Butterfly. And then, since you guys are so high on Field Pass, I might use Field Pass also because it is that lone P kind of closer. But, I mean, we've seen what these American Pharaoh babies can do on turf. I have absolutely no problem using American Butterfly and just using American Butterfly at a 12-1, and more than likely we'll start off like a pretty beefed up daily double, just keying on American Butterfly.
Yeah, my only thing with Field Pass is yeah, you guys are completely right. Field Pass makes a ton of sense. Horse likes to win, likes to track, all that kind of good jazz. But did any of the turf races really come apart today? I don't think they did. And there's a ton of speed signed up in here, and Field Pass kind of needs this to sort of come apart, doesn't he? Unless he gets that sort of Saratoga Derby trip where he just did no passing late, it'd be on a pretty speed favoring course. Is there a chance that there's a ton of speed signed up here, and we all look at it and we see the ton of speed, but that even though if everybody goes, this doesn't come apart, and Field Pass takes a ton of money on that sort of idea, and it just doesn't happen?
I mean, I think you run the risk of that, but I don't think it's all that likely. I don't really look at Field Pass as like a dead closer. I mean, he actually has a wire-to-wire win, 3 back, and he's 3 to 5 lengths off the pace in most of his runs. He's not coming from 10 or 12 back. So, and with all the speed in here, he may be a little farther back. But I'm not super concerned about it. I don't think, how many turf races were there today? It didn't feel like there were very many. And they didn't really come apart, but I didn't feel like we saw very many lightning quick paces or anything that would resemble this kind of race. But maybe I'm just remembering wrong.
No, just 3.
Yeah, just 3.
And that last, of course, I'm saying none of them came apart. That last race kind of did come apart, that sprint. So yeah. You do have a point, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. That last race definitely. That just was an exclamation point on my day. So. All right, so we all like American Butterfly. I can't wait for D-Wayne Lucas to
But I like trash can.
Oh, you like Trash Can, the one as well. Yeah, I think
with the local jock who I tend to have a bit of spite for.
Who don't you have spite for?
Today, no one. I have spite for everyone.
All right, let's take a look at the Pat Day Mile. Let's move on here. I think the fact that we're taking a first time turfer on turf stakes race says enough. Pat Day Mile. We got a mile, 1 turn mile here at Churchill on the dirt for 3-year-olds, and we got a couple big names here. We were talking a little bit before. This is a really interesting race because you got like a combination of sprinters stretching out and those derby horses, shortening up here a little bit. And I think this is made for a really, really interesting race. So, Caleb, why don't you take first shot at this one?
Yeah, I really like this race. I have to admit, though, if the news that y'all mentioned earlier about no parole scratching, if that's true, which I have no reason to think that it's not, that really changes this race a ton. I just found out about it right before we got on stream, so that dramatically changes the complexion of this race. Even though I didn't particularly love no parole, I mean, he was going to have an impact on the way this race was run, without a doubt. So that being said, I'm going to look towards horses who can be forwardly placed, because I do think this race kind of lacks a true pace setter with him scratching. And I think the race probably starts with the 2 Echo Town. He just won the Alan Jerkins last out in pretty dominant fashion. He got set up with a pretty hot pace that day to run into and made a nice run. He stretches out an extra furlong here, but it's still a 1-turn race, so I don't really have too many concerns about the distance here. I do think he's the horse to beat, and he's probably my top pick. I thought that last race, the Jerkins, was just really strong. I'm also going to be using the runner-up in that race, Tap It to Win. I thought he ran a good race as well. The front kind of fell apart in that race, and it looks like Tap It to Win was maybe just a little too close to the pace, or maybe made his move a little bit too early, because he kind of poked ahead in front at the top of the lane, but then just got run down late by Echo Town, who won going away. But I think they're both really interesting here. I think they'll both be forwardly placed, but probably not on the lead. And I think they're probably the 2 horses I want the most of. I don't really have any interest in that lazy shit Saison. So I didn't like the horse anyway. And then watching the way that the rail played today, and it really didn't seem like where you wanted it to be. On the rail draw here, unless they turn the track over overnight and it's all of a sudden a golden rail, I don't like Saison. I would expect Drew gets this horse probably hustled out of the gate and maybe tries to just go gate to wire. But I've never thought this horse was good. I've never been visually impressed with the way he's ran. Clearly the Derby trail didn't work out, and that's $3.7 million purchase is just trying to recoup money wherever they can. So I probably will totally leave Saison off all tickets and let him beat me. But yeah, I'll be using the most of Echo Town and Tap It to Win.
So Caleb, you keep saying the name of this race, and I've never heard of this Jerkins race. What is this?
Oh, the King's Bishop.
Ah, there we go. I've heard of the King's Bishop. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, good. No, I mean, I think. Do you want to go first, Chase?
Oh, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, I completely agree with Echo Town. I thought his last race was very amazing. Or I shouldn't say amazing. He ran extremely, extremely well. He went better than I thought he would. I think he was a B last time out. He's a horse that likes to track. Makes a ton of sense. And he was just very, very, very impressive in his, in his last start. I may even get aggressive to him. I think he's the kind of horse that, given how the track was playing and these quote unquote speed horse within no parole potentially scratching, I think Echo Town inherits that role, and he's versatile. I mean, he's a speed horse, but last out he didn't show as much speed. He sat 4th into a pretty hot pace at no parole set and was able to rally and come by. So he's super interesting to me. The other horse that I really like a lot in here is Rushy, the 9. I think Rushy cutting back and getting to a distance that I think is much better. Obviously, they caught Derby fever. They tried to stretch this one out. He's very, very, very talented, obviously, and he's done real well in his career. But I think Rushy cutting back to what his pedigree says should be kind of hit him square between the eyes is extremely, extremely interesting. And I expect him to take a big step forward here, kind of getting back to the proper distance. And, I think you can make a case for a lot of horses here. Again, like everybody else, I don't really like Cezanne. I just never been that impressed with the horse. That Shared Belief, he was supposed to win that by 10 lengths or something, and he just kind of was a flub and lost 1,000 turds. And I mean, I just, I can't get super excited there. And I think but there's this, I think of any race on this card, this is the one that's the most fun. I think this is a race where if you're a vertical player, this is one you can get really super cute in. I think somebody like a Vertical Threat is a horse that can definitely step up. Won his last 2 by open lengths, was geared down pretty easily. That horse that's got a ton of speed, can be forwardly placed, but can also pass horses as well. Doesn't have that big flashy fig or that big flashy win, but it's a horse that obviously has a ton of talent and can make that, I mean, if he was geared down, winning by 6 and 5 1/4 in his last 2 starts, is that horse that can, again, take that step forward. So those were kind of the horses that I was most interested in. I'll throw it over to Chase. He looks anxious to chat.
Well,
Oh no! There he goes.
You guys seem to all really like Echo Town, and for you making me wait, Mark. God damn it!
All right, go ahead and let's wait about 10 seconds, and then we'll try you again here, Chase. There he goes.
Oh, he's gone.
Well, while he's complaining that everyone likes Echo Town, I want to say that I also kind of like Echo Town here. But
Okay.
I do like Echo Town a little bit in this race, but actually my top pick in this race is Dennis Trusty's top pick as well. The 9 Rushy. I think that this is probably gonna set up a little bit more for one of these outside horses, or slightly off the pace. I think there is a ton of pace signed up here, even with the scratch of No Parole. I think Tap It to Win and Vertical Threat, Echo Town and Cezanne. I think there's going to be plenty of pace in this race. So I think that a horse coming from just off of it, like Rushy, I think is going to set up pretty nicely for him. And that's going to kind of be where I'm going to focus most of my my playthrough. I am going to use Echo Town as well. Echo Town had a hell of a race in the King's Bishop last time out. I know Mark talked a little bit about that one. I got the complete fade job on Cezanne. I don't have Cezanne anywhere here. I could be talked into a horse like Vertical Threat. I just think that Vertical Threat's going to be up against it a little bit with the pace. I'm a little more interested in Vertical Threat now that No Parole scratched, because I think Vertical Threat's the speed of the speed here. Because like Echo Town, I feel is more push button, more can win on the lead or can win just off of it. So, and then also same thing, Tap It to Win. I have a little bit of did seem to do some decent running, and I think Caleb alluded to it. Might have just hit the nitrous a little too soon, and lost the pink slips, and then I think got shot a little bit later on in the movie because he tried to run away. Wait, okay, I got way off track there.
But
Sweet,
he lost it.
sweet Fast and Furious reference there.
But Nitrous didn't win today, so you can't make a Nitrous reference.
Boo.
So this is my feeling on the Pat Day, and that is this take could 100% change tomorrow after watching a few races. If I get some visual cues that tell me that the rail is going to be an okay place to be. How many horses did we see today get that rail trip, get pinned to the rail, and do absolutely nothing? If I have no indication that has changed, then I'm 100% against Echo Town, and I'm all in on Rushy on that cutback, and then also on Tap It to Win. I'm going to say that right now, with what I know, that Tap It to Win is your 100% going to be your winner there, and then Rushy, I can see kind of running up off of Tap to Win's hip and maybe taking it late. But until I get some sort of indication that something has changed, I think you can go really hard against those inside posts.
Yeah, and just kind of looking at chat real quick, it looks like Matt and Dennis both like Rushy. It looks like John Massey. I assume, John, that means you like digital, because you said you can't wait for digital to screw everyone over. So I assume that means you like digital. I don't know.
Digital is sort of interesting in the fact that Digital does have some really dirtied up form. That last out, they tried the turf. Horse just didn't take to it at all. Was never a threat, never involved. And but you got some, back class that makes this one look super interesting. And this is probably the distance. So if you toss out those races where they were trying to, go derby chasing and focus in on the races that kind of matter, which is really only that two-back race. That optional 100 is, where he, only lost by half length to Echo Town. That's a pretty impressive race. And that's really the only one you need to be paying attention to from a fig standpoint, because everything else is them trying to figure out where this horse belongs.
Yeah, I was more interested in digital when No Parole was in. With No Parole being out, I think digital is more of an off the pace kind of horse, or even more of a closer. I don't know that I don't see this race having a lot of speed, because I don't think any of these horses. I don't think Asmussen's going to have Santana go out there and carve out 22-44 splits. I don't think Tap It to Win wants to do that either. Maybe No Parole, or not No Parole. Vertical Threat sends it, just given that that might be his best shot, but I don't see this getting stupid, and I just don't know that digital's quite good enough to get it done. But I wouldn't talk anybody off him. I'm sure he'll be a price. I'm surprised on the love for Rushy. I like Rushy, but I'm surprised he seems to be he's going to be 8-5 tomorrow at this rate.
I don't know if he ends up being 8-5, but I mean, I understand your argument that there's no crazy need the lead speed in here, but Cezanne's got a ton of speed. Echo Town's got speed. Vertical Threat's got speed. Tap It to Win has some speed. Assuming it were right on No Parole, he's got speed. Obviously, if we're assuming he scratches out, but that's 3 or 4 speeds. Isn't there enough speed in here to set up somebody a little off the pace?
I still think no. I don't think it's speed that's going to go fast. I think it's just horses that want to be within 2 lengths of the lead. I don't associate that with horses that are going to duel for the lead necessarily.
So you're going to say this could be one of those 4 wide into the first, into the quarter kind of races?
Could be. I don't know. We'll just have to see how. It depends on, I think, what Cezanne does a lot. Because it wouldn't surprise me if Drew had instructions to send from the rail. Because if he sends, it could heat up. But if he doesn't, then it, which he hasn't really sent before, I don't see the pace getting that fast.
And you're probably not putting Flo up to go full send. I would assume. Just given what I know about Flo.
What do you know about Flo? Let's keep going. What more Flo facts? What do you got? What do you got?
She sells some good car insurance, and I got nothing much beyond that.
Boo!
Oh my God!
Boo!
Looking at chat, John Massey does like the 5 furlong work. And Mike is reminding us that this race is 2 panels longer than that optional Claimer 100 from Echo Town. So I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to what you guys were doing. I was getting texted by work. So, but let's move on. I think we talked. I actually am kind of surprised how different. Well, I think we're all on the same horses. We just got them kind of in different orders. But yeah, I'm still all in on Rushy there. So let's move on to the race that Caleb said, and I quote, "If this horse doesn't win, I don't know who the fuck wins." The Iroquois, this lovely 2-year-old stakes race here, a mile on the dirt here, and we're gonna have a pretty short price favorite, I think, here in the 10, the Ride of a Lifetime. This is the horse that Caleb and I were talking, and we're like, yeah. That horse doesn't win. I don't know what to do here. So let's maybe start with Chase, since maybe he's got a different idea than the two of us did.
That's a horse that I will use, of course. But with this one, I'm kind of just going to start using kind of pedigree for this kind of race. Did pretty well with it yesterday, hitting was it a King Fury in that made the special weight the first timer. And so I'm going to go back to the well with another Curlin baby, Pico de Oro. Another Curlin baby already won a stakes race at Ellis Park. The only other horse that I might actually be considering is the tonalist baby, Belafonte, for big name trainer Thomas Humphreys and top notch jockey Declan Cannon. Not Declan Carroll, because there apparently are a lot of people named Declan. But yeah, I kind of want to go with Pico de Oro for that price. But like you said, the Ride of a Lifetime you got to use. The one knock that I might have on the Ride of a Lifetime is I feel like Candy Ride babies take a little bit longer to actually kind of develop into their true form. Like, this horse might be just a badass by the time it hits about 4 years old, but that 2 to 3 year old, might not really be at its best physically yet, even though that's not really what it's told us this, so far. The good thing about the Ride of a Lifetime is I feel like if it is all it's cracked up to be, if this Candy Ride baby is ready to fire at 2 years old, then it's already kind of gotten its bouts race out of the way with the Saratoga Special.
I always thought Candy Ride horses were good at 2.
I maybe I'm wrong here, but I tend to agree with Chase. I think Candy Rides tend to round into form as they get a little older. But again, I very well could be wrong, but I don't remember Candy Ride being a super prodigal 2-year-old producer. But I ended up being on 3 here, and I think this is one of those races where I very much agree with sort of Josh's sentiment in here that if you go beyond the 10, this gets really spready really, really quick. I think the 10 has to be in the consideration to Ride of a Lifetime. Horse didn't run bad in the Saratoga Special, and was kind of second all the way on the track. Ran well to Jackie's Warrior. I don't, I think maybe if you bounce off that maiden score, this is that sort of next step forward type of a race. And the other 2 that I really liked in here are the 3 super stock. I realize this horse comes out of Lone Star races, a lot of speed to be forwardly placed. And this one seems to kind of get a little better every race. It doesn't need to probably take a huge step forward here. And Asmusson has been 40% of the meet so far. So, I think that one makes some sense in here. And the other one that I sort of wanted in here was the 8 Midnight Bourbon, the sort of other Asmussen horse. Broke its maiden last time out after having a ton of trouble in its debut, and I expect this one to take another step forward. And I want some when I'm looking at these sort of 2-year-old stakes races this time of year, I want somebody like Asmussen who tends to get a pretty loaded barn. Midnight Bourbon, they paid a ton of money for. There was obviously thoughts that this one was pretty good, and it wouldn't surprise me for this one to step forward at a bit of a price and be a solid one. But I think this is one of those types of races where there are a ton of horses in here that could take that next step forward off from maiden scores. And if you have a price in here that you like, I wouldn't really talk anybody off anyone, because I think this is a pretty darn wide open race, and I really hate that they carded this in a spot where it's in the beginning of a pick 5, which is brutal.
I like that they did it though, because if you get it right, you're going to need to get this right to be rewarded handsomely. Like, if you hit it, you earned it. Like, if you were able to hit the Iroquois, and so early in the sequence, like, this is going to knock out a fuck ton of tickets.
Not the 10 wins.
I don't like it either. I'd much rather have the Pat Day Mile as part of the pick 5. It's a much better race, and it's equally open, except it's open with information. Whereas this one, you're kind of guessing beyond the 10. At least I am.
Where's your sense of adventure?
See, and that's that's my frustration. Both Oaks Day and Derby Day, there's this game of, like, the best betting race on the card was the last race on the day today that had no connectors and you couldn't even play a double into it. And then they freaking throw the Iroquois in, which is the best betting race on Saturday, instead of flopping it with a Pat Day Mile, so that the late pick 5 had a race that you have information you can actually handicap. And this is just playing roulette. It's stupid.
It's the typical, hey, 2-year-old maiden race to start to pick 5 that they like to throw in the middle of the summer.
It's like let's fuck with our clientele. Let's be a dick and turn it into a lottery instead of turn it into actual some skill. It's just
there is some talking on in chat that says that we might want to pay a lot of attention to this 3 because if Keith Asmussen can win on this horse, it's a monster.
Oh, Dennis, I haven't even looked at chat, and I know it's Dennis saying that.
It was actually Matt Carlson who said it, but Dennis did
But I'm
agree.
sure Dennis agrees because
Dennis agrees.
Yeah, and Dennis, I would agree. And you get into that thing of, okay, Lone Star Racing probably isn't as the quality of Naira scene or the Kentucky scene, but this is 2-year-olds, and I'll give this one the shot that maybe this is one's for real.
Here's my question. If Keith Asmussen is small enough to be a jockey, what jockey was with Asmussen's wife whenever she stepped out? Who do you think it was?
Dude, isn't Cash Asmussen Steve's maybe.
Fuck your loss.
Maybe.
Fuck your logic. Fuck with your logic, man. Whatever. Just like, come on. Let's make jokes about Asmussen being a cuckold for fun.
Oh man. Anyways, I pretty much landed on the 10 as an A. I landed on the 3 and the 8 as B's. So not really getting real crazy here, but I think that if you wanted to buy a race, I think this is the race to buy. I mean, who knows? I mean, these 2-year-olds improve so much from one race to another that, seeing, I mean, I'm looking at the Briz, but it looks like the 10's got an 85 and an 81 on the Briz, and seeing like a horse like the 5 jump up 10 points, seeing the horse like the 3 jump up 10, 15 points, like that's not crazy. So I could definitely see something here coming up and just completely fucking everything. So
yeah, I will say that I will have a pick 5 that I do buy the C's in this race. I mean, I have 3 A's I like. I probably won't have a B, and then I will buy the rest of the races C's just because calamity factor happens in these kind of races, and when you don't have enough information and these 2-year-olds step forward, this is the kind of race I'm okay buying.
Yeah, I feel like the 2 ways to play this are to buy it or to single the 10. I don't know what I'll do yet. I like the 10 the best, obviously. We already talked about the 8, who I also liked. I guess I did look a little bit at the shit. Where'd he go? The 4. It just seemed like Talamo may have had a couple choices here. On horses he rode last out and ends up on this one. He takes a lot of mounts for Dale Romans. Like I said, you can't really make a lot of use out of speed figs when they're 2-year-olds and lightly raced because they do jump up so much. But yeah, I have the 10 on top, and then I have 5, 8, and 11 as kind of the next horses I'm interested in. I don't know what I'll actually do here. What I'll probably do, honestly, is watch the board. And if any of these horses take money besides the 10, I'll probably upgrade them. Otherwise, I might just single the 10.
Yeah, I do agree that 5 is super interesting.
I'm looking at Chase, just realizing that Steve Asmussen is a jockey.
Did he retire at 12? Like, he's like 6'5".
Well, was it like Wesley Ward? Was it Wesley Ward? Was he the one who retired? No, Steve. Maybe it was Steve. I forget. Either Steve or Wesley.
It was Ward that retired because he got fat.
Oh, is that what it was? I know one of them retired because he couldn't keep weight anymore. He couldn't make weight. So I remember if it was Ward or Steve, but yeah, that's funny. He actually he had to retire because his hair was just like absolutely just weighing him down too much. He couldn't make weight because of his hair. No, okay, let's move on. Let's take a look at race 11 here, the Distaff Turf Mile. A mile on the turf. I was telling Caleb I was real excited for this because I started seeing some of these prices on horses like Daddy's a Legend and Juliet Foxtrot, and I'm like, oh man, this must be a really fucking wide open race if I'm getting 5-1 on Juliet Foxtrot. Oh wait, Newspaper Record is in here. So yeah, Newspaper Record I think is going to loom real large in this group, especially since coming back as a 4-year-old. And I think that she just might be a miler. I mean, she's just been destroying these fields. So, I mean, I have Newspaper Record as a lone A in this race. I don't think I'm going to get too cute. If I were to use any Bs in this race, I think Juliet Foxtrot is the next logical. And I think matches up decently here. I'm just thinking that Juliet Foxtrot and Newspaper Record kind of go out and go on the front end, and I just think that Newspaper Record is just going to pull away late. So those are the two I was kind of looking at. I looked at Daddy's a Legend a little bit, but I don't know, that last race did not exactly inspire a ton of confidence in me, and regressed a ton. And I think that I'll probably need to see one on Daddy is a Legend. She's on the Warpath is a little interesting, but I just don't think that she's on the Warpath as fast enough. Would probably have to improve a bunch. And then Beau Recall just sucks, so I'm not going to use any of Beau Recall at all. But
Beau Recall doesn't just suck. Beau Recall just isn't as good as Beau Recall used to be. Beau Recall was a damn good horse last year.
But yeah, that's kind of where I saw it. I think I'm going to stick with the 4 and the 3. Most of my play through the 4. I'll use a little bit of the 3 here. And I mean, if I needed to go any deeper, it would be the 1 and the 2. And then I'll let the rest of these horses in this field beat me here. What do you think, Mark?
I would say Newspaper Record is 4 to 5 on the morning line, and probably deservedly so. She's your most likely winner in here. My concerns are that all last year she was terrible. Never threw up a great race, and if you look at her last 2 races, both times she caught a really really speed favoring turf course at Belmont. So she caught a speed favoring turf course at Belmont. Had no pace pressure whatsoever, got loose, got confident, and was able to kick away at the top of the lane after kind of, doing whatever she wanted on the front end. That's not going to happen in here in this race where Beau Recall is going to be able to press her early. Or sorry, Juliet Foxtrot, my bad. Yeah. The words, they thank you. Juliet Foxtrot is going to be able to press her early. And I don't necessarily know. Newspaper Record may be just, a different horse as a 4-year-old, but I think Juliet Foxtrot can at least keep her honest on the front end and can go with her early. And so I think you have to get a little bit more creative in here. I think Newspaper Records is a lone A for me. I think she's your most likely winner, but I think you can make a case for, Daddy's a Legend, who is a very sort of, inconsistent type. Let's put it that way. I don't hate the trainer switch, and I think, Flo gets up here. Flo's been just dynamite on the turf. She's Daddy's a Legend is super interesting in here. I think Juliet Foxtrot is another one that can, fits on figs and why not in here? And maybe she wants to go a touch further, but she at least keeps Newspaper Record honest. And if Newspaper Record falls off and it turns into a head bob late, maybe Juliet Foxtrot can get there on Newspaper Record, who gets way over bet. And then I'll give Beau Recall another shot. She's been terrible this year, but oh geez, come on. Of the 3 of you that all need to write breakup letters, let me bet Beau Recall one more time and give her a shot. She, she's good at this distance. She likes Churchill, and I'll give her one more shot, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to Mark on this one. I think Newspaper Record is going to be a single A, but I'm not going to play this like with an AC structure. It's more like an AB structure because I don't think Newspaper of Record is a horse that I can personally trust that much, given some of her struggles last year, and who knows what happens if she doesn't make the lead. I do think she will get the lead here. Yeah, Julia Foxtrot might try to go. I don't think she can go with Newspaper. Harmless, only option is to go, but the horse has never actually run a very fast half mile. So I really do think Newspaper gets out front on a not slow pace, but I don't think it'll be blitzing fast. But you never know. You never know what you're going to get from her. She's looked amazing her last 2 starts, so she's a lone A. but I am going to use some of Daddy is a Legend and Bo Recall, both as my Bs. Daddy is a Legend. That last race was bad, but I can kind of forgive it. It was her first start in like 10 months, which that's a long layoff. She was a little bit ranked down the backstretch, tugging and pulling the whole time. And she maybe just didn't care for the soft track that day. I mean, Ellis Park was an absolute bog of a swamp that day. So I can kind of draw a line through that one. And a lot of her other races do fit here. And Bo Recall is the other, in the event that the track does either play a little more towards closers, or if you do get a bit of a speed duel in here with Newspaper and maybe Juliet or Harmless, I think Bo Recall is the one closer you can trust more than anyone else. Bo Recall actually made up a lot of ground against Newspaper of Record 2 back on a course that was playing pretty friendly towards speed. Bo Recall actually beat Uni that day, which isn't as much of an accomplishment as it once was. She came back in the yellow ribbon handicap and just had an impossibly slow pace to run at, 24-2, 49-4 on Del Mar, where it's a pretty quick playing surface anyway. Like, you're never going to run down a horse that's kind of ahead of you on those fractions. So I do think that Bo Recall can kind of be excused for that last one. She probably has lost a step a little bit in her 6-year-old season here, but I do think that she makes a little bit of sense here.
Yeah, somebody's talking in chat. Does the thought of a rad not being a Newspaper of Record scare you? No, I mean, and JJ rides a ton for Chad. He rides very well. I don't think there's a ton of style difference. I don't think this is a hard horse to ride. It's sort of the you're going to go and you're going to be either loose on the lead or you're going to be second off, and then get her to rally home late. I don't think this is a hard horse to ride or a super tricky timing horse where you would be concerned about the jock change.
I would be concerned in the sense that, not that I'm like, oh, it's not Irad, he didn't come for this horse or anything like that, but the horse is a little bit tough to handle. So I would be a little concerned from that perspective, just given that the horse is a bit of a head case. It was ranked as all hell in the Belmont Oaks. She wants to go. And if Castellano, I'm sure he'll have pretty strict instructions from Chad here. I don't even know who's been on her in the mornings, but I would be more comfortable with Irad. It probably doesn't change my opinion of the horse, but it would probably make me a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think that's a wrong take, and I would tend to agree with you. I kind of, with her, tend to toss out every race in 2019 and just ignore them. And if you ignore those races, she's, her last two have been great. She didn't look like she was head casey. She looked like she was settled and okay. I don't know if that's the loose lead and she just wants to go and be the leader, or if it's the fact that they figured something out. There was something wonky with her last year. I don't know, but. I trust in JJ just as much as I trust in Irad, although a lot of people recently have been giving JJ a lot of shit. He's a jock I always felt I could be comfortable in, so I don't doesn't scare me.
Dude, I'd love today. There was a newer guy in the Discord who was just fucking giving it to JJ the whole fucking day, and it was just great. I was fucking loving it. There was after JJ got herded by Paco, he was just like, dude, JJ herds as much as anybody else, and he was just fucking going in, dude. It was great. Yeah. I loved it.
He was doubling down, and I was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? You have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
It was a weird day because I went full soba noodle on Jose Ortiz at Sir.
You did.
Can I make a confession, guys? I made a confession.
Jose Ortiz is the second person in horse racing I've threatened to choke, Josh being the first.
I absolutely hammered that horse that Jose Ortiz was on because you were singing to it, and I fucking I was like, man, Chase loves this horse. I'm gonna hammer this horse. So that was probably my fault, but the jury's still out. I mean, it was probably still mostly Jose's fault, but it could be a little bit my fault.
That was a retro, before I knew your name was Josh kind of move that you put on me there.
Are we
so
go ahead, Chase?
I haven't talked about this race. It's okay. Fuck me. If the 4, 5, or 9 come in at Del Mar, I'm gonna have enough money to fucking buy this race for the fuck of it. But I honestly,
have the 5 come in, because the 5 coming in would be much preferred.
No, 4 or 9, please. I feel like there's so many races on this card that might actually like take a good amount of like brain power and critical thought, and that this one is not one of them. And I'd rather save the juice that's in my mind grapes and give them a squeeze on the Derby or in another race and just say it's going to be newspaper record. Like I've tried to make it a point lately to, if a horse is going to win, like I don't need to like come up with crazy fucking conspiracy theories for how another horse might win. I know it's fun to do, and I love doing it and being all excited about a 30-1, only to watch it like lead into the stretch and then finish last. I think it's going to be definitively newspaper of record. Maybe he doesn't show up, but it just seems yeah, whatever. Newspapers are masculine things, kind of like how butterflies are feminine things. I'm sorry, I'm a girl dad.
Really?
Yeah, my kids can, my girls can be anything they want to be except for pilots, comedians, or the president. Yeah, I think that the newspaper of record is going to be your winner. Just pretty simple there. I'm going to go way down the rabbit hole in the Kentucky Derby, so I'm going to save all that rabbit hole capital for that race.
Good. I mean, you can't be much worse than what I'm going to say, because you guys already know what I'm going to say. I mean, Caleb. I think Caleb's probably heard this rant already, and if not, he already knows what I'm going to say for the Derby.
By the way, Baffer already mushed your horse earlier today. He mushed it.
He did. He mushed my horse earlier.
Your horse earlier. You were mushed by the
Fucking
great
Baffer,
fox, the fucktard that he is.
He was all over Vexatious, that motherfucker. Wait, that's the horse we were talking about, right?
Vexatious?
Yeah.
No.
Was that not the horse he mushed? I thought you were talking about Vexatious because this is bad.
No. Do you want me to go now?
No, we'll talk about it when we get there then. That's no fucking good.
He mushed your horse.
That's no good. All right, let's move on to race 12 here, the Derby City Distaff. Let me double check chat. I didn't see anything. It looks like Road Warrior had finally arrived. Shout out to Road Warrior. Yeah, I think Polka Dot Taylor's onto it. He says that Chad shipped all these horses for newspaper. Yeah, I figured he probably was sending newspaper, so he sent a couple others. Any concern about Irad not being on? I don't think so. I think you had already answered that a little bit. You said JJ's, or who's on newspaper? Is it JJ? Yeah, JJ will be fine.
Yeah, JJ's fine.
That'll be fine. He hopefully he doesn't mess that up. All right, let's move on to
real quick. As we've been like anti-Gamine a couple times on videotape, can we all like take a minute to hate on Caleb for being so pro Gamine and Gamine flopping? Like I feel like I just want to, because he succeeds all the time, and like I gotta pick my spots.
Look, I'm just saying, if we sit here and start talking about all the times that we were wrong on this card on Friday, like that would literally take up the rest of the hour, because it was fucking awful.
It was only really awful.
This is only going to last another hour. I call bullshit on that. We're going to be on here for. I'm gonna have to put the kids to bed for like the next week and help them get ready for daycare for the next like week and a half, because I told her, I was like, I'm gonna be out in that shop sweating for a while tonight.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to this Derby City Distaff. 7 furlong sprint here for fillies and mares 4-year-old and up. It looks like we got a pretty short favorite again here in Serengeti Empress, everybody's favorite horse, horse that has made a lot of money for this group. We've talked about this horse a ton.
Yeah.
Only 2 of us?
No, for three of the 4, I'm not included.
Yeah, I would say I think it's really only 2 of us that have printed money with Serengeti Empress.
I want to say I was very pro cookie dough in that race. And history show that was not good for me.
This race reminds me a little bit of the Pat Day Mile. in that we got a couple of horses that are shortening up a little bit. That I mean, Serengeti, I think, is fine going longer as well. Did the ballerina was 7 longs, and obviously won that race. But you got like horses like CC that are shortening up a little bit here. Yeah, this is this is a pretty interesting race here. Caleb, why don't you start off on this one?
Yeah, sure. So I guess this race comes down to really what you think Serengeti Empress does. And for me, I know it. Well, first she sets to probably she projects to set a pretty nice pace right here, and I don't think there's a ton of other speed. She has the ability to kind of be the lone speed in any race that she enters, just because she's naturally that quick out of the gate. But I do think that that last race, like, it was all over Twitter. Everybody loved this horse, and it was an amazing race. But I'm kind of wondering, she's a horse that's been known to throw some clunkers, and I mean, maybe she backs it up with another strong effort here. Like maybe she is, just better going shorter. Like I'm not against the horse by any means, but I do kind of think that there's a good argument to be made here that she's going to regress off that huge effort in the ballerina. So the horse I actually like better than her, while I am still probably using her maybe as a B, would be Cece, the 10. I've loved Cece for a long time. I've always thought she was a very nice horse. I loved her in the Apple Blossom, when she won from a pretty impossible post. And she kind of came up flat in her last 2 starts, racing against Fighting Mad in both of those and getting beat by the same horse twice. I just kind of think that she's a horse that probably appreciates the cutback here. I don't know that a mile and a 16th or a mile and an 8th is ever really what was going to be in her wheelhouse. I do think she's better going like a 1-turn mile or maybe even 7 furlongs here. So I think the cutback makes a lot of sense because she just always looked a little bit flat in the stretch when going those 2-turn routes and didn't seem to have that explosive kick that she showed earlier on in her career. So I think she makes a lot of sense here. I do think she gets a stalking trip, probably a few lengths back of Serengeti. And I think she's probably the one that I want most to run down Serengeti. I'm not going to go to a horse like Bellafina. She ran a nice race last time. If she couldn't beat Bellafina, if she couldn't beat Serengeti with the way the race went last time, I just don't know that she's ever going to win outside of California. So I'm not really going back to the Bellafina well. Like a horse like Sally's Curlin and Bell's the One both seem to really need a pace set up and come out of the clouds. So to me, I'm using Cece and actually a horse that I haven't talked about at all, Mia Mischief, as A's, and then Serengeti Empress as a B.
So Josh, what do you got there?
Yeah, I tried to display the bottles as best as I could. I did receive my my backup bottle, so I went ahead and I was drinking a little bit more E.H. Taylor, but I do have the rye still that you sent me. So shout out to Mark for being on the lookout for his bros on bourbon, because I already drank my Blanton's that PDT sent me. I think I've been done with that bottle for like a year. No, less than that.
He also sent me some Blantons, and I went through that really quick.
Well, you do it smart though, Mark. All right, because here's the thing. All right, there's a difference. If you guys are not on the Discord, I always post pictures of like my bourbon collection. Mark has like 2 bottles at a time, and then he just fucking drinks those 2 bottles. Then he'll go buy another 2 bottles. Whereas I think I have like 20 bottles open right now, half Scotch, half bourbon. So I know. If PDT didn't send anything out to Chase, he'd probably still be drinking Kahlua in his compound there. Wait, did we find out what Caleb's drinking?
We're self-sufficient. We make our own Kahlua.
Are you drinking water again, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm still sober tonight.
Oh, good. You know what? Maybe that's why Caleb's been so fucking off tonight.
He needs to get rip-roaring drunk and have a knockdown drag out with the girlfriend, and he will beat the brakes off at Derby Day.
Yeah. And then Mark, you got that small batch select there, right?
Yeah, a little 4 was a small batch select, which did PDT was right. It did open up quite a bit after it. It needed, I think, to be aired out a little bit. It's yeah, it definitely a little time, a little airing out helped it, opened it up. It's much better. And I will say, Josh got me into doing some of that 12-year cherry. Was it cherry cask or the sherry cask or the
Oh, the
um,
Macallan 12, yeah.
Macallan 12? That is very tasty stuff. That's one of the first scotches I've ever had that I went, ooh, that is good stuff. Yeah, so
I'm gonna jump in with my take here because I really like CC, and then I noticed one thing was that Victor Espinoza is not making the trip. And I mean, we saw what happened to Midnight Bisou whenever Mike Smith didn't make the trip with her. The It's a good horse. It doesn't look like the it's going to be the world beater that everyone just thinks is going to win. But those little things matter. So I'm going to use that as a way to get around CC. I feel like Serengeti Empress, you might have another situation where everyone, like all the jockeys and trainers, get together and before the race and say, all right, so we're just all going to sit back and watch Serengeti Empress get smaller as she runs away from us, right? And they all go, yeah. And they clap and they say break like they're in a huddle. Someone's going to have to beat Serengeti Empress to the spot. I'm not sure who's going to do it. I've got a really just random dark horse pick for who might do that. Lady Kate. What if Lady
today and is going to scratch tomorrow?
She's going to scratch?
She raced today, so I would think so.
If not Lady Kate, let's say, no one. Serengeti Empress. I mean, there's no one else that's going to go out there and challenge her. Mia Mischief. I like Mia Mischief. I just don't like Mia Mischief drawn on the rail. Once again, tomorrow, if I see that the rail is kind of maybe spruced up a little bit, then I might like Mia Mischief as a way to knock off Serengeti Empress. But if I don't see it, then I feel like Serengeti just gets loose, and we've all fucking seen this show and sang this song on numerous occasions. Like, she just runs wild.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Chase. Well, I'm going to 100% agree with what Caleb said here because I think we're almost identical on our picks. For me, Serengeti Empress is a lone A here, but she is prone to tossing a clunker, and I feel like you do need those Bs right behind her. Yeah, I mean, her ballerina was great. The thing didn't come up phenomenal, and I don't love the fact that there's a million different jocks that have been on her, and I don't, I think Sayaz fits her really, really well. I don't. But I'm a little, I don't know. She's hard. I love her. I think this is the distance that fits her best. She's been very good to me financially, but I always am a little bit scared of her. She's not a horse I ever feel like, oh, I can, like Bisou. Oh, it could feel super confident being single to her. I don't feel that way with Serengeti. So Serengeti ends up being my lone A on this. And, Mia Mischief makes a ton of sense here. I think this is a better distance for her, and or this I think this is the distance for her. Don't love the rail draw here. We'll have to see if the rail plays any better tomorrow. If the rail is still terrible, I may move her out. But like Chase said, but I think Mia Mischief makes a ton of sense, and the works were really good on her. And Cece, who I think at one point, if you were talking last year, we thought Cece was going to be the second coming, and I think they've tried to stretch Cece out. I don't really think that's her game. I think the cut back to 7 is going to be really good for Cece. So she's my other horse that I'm super interested in. And when I was playing the pick 6 today, the 2-day, I had Bellafina as a B, and then I went, wait a second, Bellafina can't win outside the state of California. So I'm going to move Bellafina back to a C. And I feel sort of the same way. I think Bellafina takes a ton of money. She ends up becoming a takeout reducer in here. But from a pace dynamics, I think Serengeti Empress, Serengeti Empress gets real loose in here. I don't see anybody wants to challenge her early. She's the speed of the speed, and she may break. And if she breaks and gets loose, this may be over within about 3 strides of this race.
Yeah, I have 2 A's and 2 B's in this race, and I know you guys pretty much, I think you guys talked about all these horses. I have Serengeti as an A in this race. I think that Serengeti I think is going to probably be best around this I don't know if she's gonna be best at this, but I think at least especially in this race, I think she fits really well going 7 furlongs. I still think that they should take a shot and stretch her out a little bit, but I think the ballerina is winning in for the sprint, so they're gonna run her in the sprint. I'm guessing in the BC. The other horse I'm gonna use as an A in this race is gonna be the 1 Mia Mischief. Kind of playing that horse for course angle with Mia Mischief. I'm kind of going to try and play skinnier early so I can use Mia Mischief as an A in this race and try and get a little bit of value out of this race. I don't know if that 6-1 holds, but I do like Mia Mischief in this spot. The 2 B's I do have are the 9 and the 10, Bellafina and CC. As 2 horses that are going to sit just off of it, I think, and try and make a run from the outside. I think the post position really is going to help both Bellafina and CC. And I think the cutback is especially going to help CC. I know, after that Apple Blossom, everyone was ready for CC to become the next the best 4-year-old filly in training, or who knows what else, but kind of throwing 2 clunkers, so cutting her back I think is going to help her here. So I'm 1-8 over or 1-8 as A's and 9-10 as B's in this race. Taking a look at chat here. Yeah, Lady Kate did run today. I did see someone asked about that. I don't know. And sorry, once again, work was texting me a little bit. Did we talk a little bit about Bell's the One here at all?
I don't think so.
No?
We did, and she is super interesting. My thing is I think be more of a horizontally focused guy, and I don't see a way that she wins this race. But she's super interesting. I've heard a ton of talk about her. A lot of Twitter sphere, a lot of pundits have been talking about her being sort of that she's that wise guy horse in this race. She's interesting. And if she fires back to that winning colors and she can stretch that out a little bit, she's super logical here. I just don't know if she's good enough. And there's too many other horses I trust in here, and I don't really see the pace setup where the front end comes off this and it really falls into her lap. I think she probably needs that pace setup, that front end to collapse a little that she can fire into. She's super interesting. I like her. I think she's a really interesting horse. I just don't know if I could put her on top. If I was a trifecta player, somebody like Chase, I think she's a horse you have to use underneath at a bit of a price.
Yeah, I think if you think that this is going to fall apart, 2 horses that we didn't really talk about much that I think you need to look at are the 4 Bell's the One, as well as the 6, I think, Sally's Curlin. Sally's Curlin would be very interesting if this gets real stupid up front. I think if you listen to our podcast, I know we talked, I believe Mike and I talked a little bit about Sally's Curlin. Sally's Curlin is pretty interesting in this spot. So I think the 7 furlongs is the distance that she wants to go. You get a local jock aboard, and Dale Romans, especially in Kentucky, tends to spot his horses really well. So I could see using maybe the 4 and the 6 as like C types, and maybe if you think that this pace is going to get hot, I could see using 1 or both as B's as well in this race if you're kind of constructing some horizontals that way.
Mulligan, Mulligan. I want a Mulligan from Mulligan. Can I get that?
Mulligan.
Yeah.
What are you gonna Mulligan on?
Mulligan.
Oh, dude, Mulligan just blew us up at Delaware.
Mulligan just blew us all up. We all just got blown up by a Mulligan.
I see an inquiry. I'm pretty certain it doesn't involve it.
It
But
doesn't involve the Mulligan, but my God, please take this horse down.
I was about to make a shit ton of money with that 9.
Dude, I'm like sitting here. I'm like, oh shit! Like, was I like real? Like, did me mentioning the 4 and 6 like change your guys' mind so much that you wanted a Mulligan to go back and talk through this race 12 again? I was like, man, I didn't think I was very convincing there, but you guys are talking about something else.
Nah. I mean, I don't want a dead closer in this race, so it kind of rules them out for me. Both of them have probably 1 race on their resume that's fast enough to win, and then 8 or 10 races that aren't. So you're kind of betting on them rediscovering that one race, which could happen, but I'd have to get paid a nice price for it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Easy Money is talking about using Bells as the one as a horizontal inherent, and I don't disagree. I think if you want a big payout, you use a horse like that. My concern is here. There are other races that I think you find that bigger price in by spreading. Other than this race, I don't think this is the race where you try to find that price. I feel like you're getting a little. I'm probably 100% wrong. The horse probably wins going away, but I think you're getting a little too cute in this race by trying to spread that far here to try to find a price.
All right, let's move on to race 13, the Turf Classic. If you thought the Iroquois was going to fuck your tickets, let me introduce you to race 13, the Turf Classic, because I like when I took a look at this race. I mean, this is a race I have 3 A's in and 1 B, and I don't feel like I got enough coverage. Because I mean, easily half the field, if not more, can win this race. It's fucking nuts. Our favorite here is going to be the 1 Factor This at 3-1. Rock Emperor. There's a trio of Chad Browns in here: Rock Emperor, Digital Age, and Sacred Life in here. And Caleb's favorite, West Coast Turf Horse, the 2 Bowie's Hero, it also shows up here. But I'm just going to talk through this one kind of quick here, and I'll let you guys go. I actually had Bowie's Hero kind of as a C. I do see that he was working pretty well, and in talking with Caleb a little bit earlier, Caleb is back on the Bowie's Hero train. So I actually moved this horse up to an A, along with my 2 other choices here. The 8 Sacred Life is going to be the Chad that I pick in this race. I just think that this horse is going to get a nice setup with a fair amount of pace. Does keep Paco Lopez aboard, who did win the Oceanport last time out. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I think of the Chads. I'm gonna take the 8 as my my most likely of the Chads to win. And then the other horse is a horse I have a soft spot for. This is a horse I loved on the Derby Trail last year, and you guys know how much I love speed horses. That's going to be the 9, Some Like It Hot Brown. I went back and forth over and over again and was like, there's a lot of pace in this race. There's no way a horse is going to win on the front end. I don't know, man. Tyler Gaff knows this turf course. So I have a feeling that Tyler's going to give this horse a really, really good ride. And the turf today did look a little speed favoring. So I did have Some Like a Hot Brown as a speed horse I wanted in here over horses like the 1 or the 10. And so I had him originally as a B, but seeing as the way the turf course played today, I moved him up to an A. We have a couple of turf races early to kind of let us know maybe the turf course is not going to be super speed friendly. If it's not, I could see moving the 9 down to a B. Yeah, that's going to be the speed horse I have here. And then the other Chad I'm going to use as a B here is going to be Rock Emperor. I'm completely tossing Digital Age. I think of the 3 Chads, I think he's the most vulnerable here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be using the 2, 8, and 9 as A's, and then I'm going to be using Rock Emperor as my lone B. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, sorry about that. Chase is being a little needy, but I I sort of agree with sort of how you're looking at here, Josh. To me, this race was pretty darn wide open. Bowie's Hero makes a lot of sense in here. I like Bowie's Heroes a lot. Again, one of those types that needs a bit of a pace setup. And I'm probably being a little stupid because I didn't love Factor This in here, but I moved Factor This back to a B. But it probably ends up being a major pace player in here, and if it plays it as a did today, where the front end seemed to be a good place to be. Factor this probably needs to be moved up. I'll finagle, and also a horse that's won his last 4 starts. I'll probably move this around a little bit depending on how the turf is playing earlier. But I was really on Bowie's Bowie's Hero. Rock Emperor was another A for me, and Sacred Life. I wasn't getting super creative. I'm using a lot of Chads in here. I think all the Chads make a ton of sense, but again, there's a lot of horses in here that make a lot of sense. For Bs, pretty much agreeing with Josh here. Factor this is a B for me, and I use it some like a hot brown. Although I don't think he gets crazy loose like he did last time out in the Bar Baruch, where he just got stupid loose, and everybody else sat around and watched him wire that race, and nobody decided to pressure him at all because passive Naira Jock colony and stupid things happen. So, of my Bs, the one that I'm most likely to throw away is something like a hot brown. And the only other horse I had saw any consideration in here was Digital Age, the 4, who is a horse that has done well at Churchill.
He's definitely a horse.
He's definitely a horse, but horse has done well at Churchill. But I think given some of the others in here, and given the pace setup that he really needs to get at home, a 4 for 10 type is not what I really want to have in here. So pretty consistent with what Josh said, and I'll let somebody else that has a better opinion in that and isn't spreading like crazy throw something out.
Please note that he just said a better opinion than Josh.
You wonder why I at Mark and Caleb specifically for that turf race. That's not you. I love you, Josh. I'm sorry. I apologize. If I could unchoke you, I would. All right. I had 3 horses.
I thought you were just choking Jose. It was just Jose today.
No,
until you realized I bet that horse.
Oh, and then you're choking both Jose and Josh. Okay, got it.
Yeah, no, they were weeks apart, separate chokings. I had 3 horses that I decided I was going to play. I think we mentioned them all, but I'm actually really intrigued by Digital Age. I feel like Digital Age might be rounding in top form and really might be like that other Chad Brown horse for this race. I mean, I'm more afraid of the other Chad Brown horse than the Chad Brown horse in most races.
I'm concerned about the other Chad Brown or the other Chad Brown in this race.
Yeah, I mean I've laid this theory out before that the Chad Browns in a race operate like the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park. Whenever you focus on one, another one pops out of the bushes and fucking plunders that ass. And I mean, I hate to go back to my favorite, horse racing data, method, which is thoroughgraphs, and say that looking at the sheets, I really thought that Digital Age might be able to throw a new top.
Mixing again.
He's mixing sauces. I thought you were gonna mention Tid Stedman, Titan litigation on that one.
No, I haven't, but I should. Tim Stedman, Titan litigation. I sent him a nice message today, which was a screenshot of a text that I sent him, which was like, I think a horse like She Dares the Devil might win, and then completely forgot about it and wasn't able to do anything with it. I was like, I'll just leave this here. He's like, what? So did you crush it? Absolutely not. No, I didn't. But
didn't I ask you the same thing?
Yeah. But it felt less whimsical when you did it. It felt more dickish. I think Digital Age 100%. This race could melt down. Has a nice little closing kick. Has been running fairly well at Saratoga. No one ever focuses on the other Chad Brown, but those horses win a ton of races. So especially with Castellano up on a Clarovic horse, I feel like that's the money combination whenever Chad rolls out a Clarovic horse. Like, it seems that whenever Castellano puts on the big block K silks, good things usually happen. So at 6-1, I'm gonna take that shot with the price, and I'll probably horizontally stick to Digital Age, Sacred Life, and factor this.
Yeah. So I kind of see the race from a pace perspective the same way that I think Chase did, where I see a lot of speed here. I think the one horse Factor This is he's a very nice horse, but he's also a horse. But he's the only one on the lead, and he's got company up front. Spectacular Gem. I think that horse has to send, and Jimmy Graham is a really aggressive rider. He's going to put that horse on the lead. There's almost no doubt in my mind. So
and for a while, he was the most dominant tight end in the NFL.
That in New Orleans, but and then some like a Hot Brown. I don't know that he's a textbook need the lead type, but he certainly does his best running on the front. I think that if all three of them end up going tomorrow, which I think that they will, it sets it up for kind of an off the pace runner. We've already talked about some of the ones that I like here. I also like Bowie's Hero here as an A, who we've already addressed a couple times. I also am using the 8-horse Sacred Life. This horse kind of sends me mixed signals. It doesn't feel like a real Chad Brown horse to me, considering that it ran at Monmouth last time and Paco is up. But on the other hand, on thoroughgraphs, this horse is the fastest horse in the race. And if you look 2 races back, it ran 4th in the Pegasus to a horse I've never heard of, Something Alpha, and then Magic Wand and Silver Guard. Before that, it ran a nice 2nd to Next Shares, who's a decent horse. Like, this horse was kept good company and is the fastest on paper. It's just kind of the connections are a little puzzling to me, as well as the placement that they sent this horse to Monmouth, where he ran going away. Now they're bringing him back here, and Paco gets up. It's just a little bit confusing to me, but I'm going to just kind of put that out of my mind and trust the horse anyway. And then my last A that we haven't really talked about actually is the 6 horse here, Mr. Dumas. If you watch the Bernard Baruch, as Mark alluded to earlier, Some Like a Hot Brown got kind of stupid loose on the front end. At that time of the meet at Saratoga, there was a pretty pronounced thought amongst the jocks that you can't wire on the turf, and nobody would go to the lead at all, and you were getting these insanely slow fractions. And Some Like a Hot Brown just went out there, set a pretty slow pace, well clear of the rest of the field, and just ran them off their feet that day. If you look at kind of the way that race went, Mr. Dumas was really one of the only horses to make up any ground in a race that was largely dominated on the front end. So I thought that was a better race than it looked. The 4th place finisher, Halliday, came back to win the 4-star Dave in wire-to-wire fashion in his next start. So I think there was some quality in that race. And, on thoroughgraphs, this horse makes sense. He's 3 for 4 at Churchill. He's never ran out of the money at this track. You're getting Mike Maker on a turf router. It's pretty much some of the best connections you could hope for in Kentucky. I'm not crazy about Franco being up, I guess, but he rode the horse last time and he rode the horse pretty well. So that doesn't really bother me. Mr. Dumas is the horse I think is going to get kind of lost in the shuffle, but I think is the one who ends up stepping forward and could really be live at a nice price. So those are my 3 A's, Bowie's Hero, Mr. Dumas, and then Sacred Life. And then I'm playing Factor This as a B, and I haven't quite decided what to do with Rock Emperor. That horse is probably a B, if anything. His figures fit, his class fits, but I just would have liked to seen him actually win by now. He's kind of running out of excuses for me at this point, and he's just starting to seem like one of those Chads that just doesn't win. So, who knows? Maybe he'll prefer the shorter distance here. I don't really think so, but I don't know. He's kind of running out of excuses for me. He's probably going to be the favorite. And I'm not super interested in betting him or Digital Age, but I would probably use him over Digital Age just based on his figures.
Yeah, I know over in chat, was it somebody was asking about the Woodward tomorrow? I think it was Road Warrior about Tacitus. Can Tacitus lose? Yeah, I don't like Tacitus at all in that race. I think he 100% loses. Or like 90% loses, which means he 100% wins. But I think that somebody like a global campaign makes a lot more sense than Tacitus.
Oh, dude, Caleb's gonna lose so much money to global campaign.
That's the horse I need to write a breakup letter. That's my Sir Rick. It's my Flapjack.
What? All right. You guys are gonna have to send me a video with the timestamp of when I was just like, oh, Flapjack. I fucking love Flapjack. I am almost 100% certain that was a Mark horse. As was Tyshawn.
No. You got all excited about Tyshawn. That's 100% you. And Flapjack, I don't even remember at all. But also, I would say in the Woodward, somebody like a spinoff or Moretti would make a lot more sense to me than Tassis.
Is the Woodward like a 2-mile race?
No, it's a 1.25 miles.
And you're gonna bet Moretti?
As a B, yeah, I would. I would take Moretti. Yeah, Moretti won the Birdstone. Well, okay, I guess it was 1.75 miles, but minor detail. But I think Moretti is usable in that race. Somebody like a spinoff or a global campaign are more interesting, though.
I was checking to see if they kept the blinkers on Tass this here, but
yeah, I'm assuming they did.
It's a fucking
they didn't. It doesn't look like they did. Are the blinkers coming off?
Blinkers look like they're coming back off again.
No, it doesn't say blinkers off though. See, I never know how DRF notes it. Like if they ran with blinkers last time, I think they don't note it unless it's blinkers off. But I'll probably bet Math Wizard because I love Sassy Joseph.
Because you just can't help
I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. Just for the record, I actually really liked Mr. Dumas in this race. I think on the pod I mentioned I think I had him as an A along with Sacred Life. So in everyone mentioning him, I did move him as a B into my my tickets here. Math Wizard, I can't help myself. And parlaying that into race 14 here, Kentucky Derby, the race everyone wants to talk about. Caleb, you already know who my top pick in this race is, right?
Oh, I'm sure that I do. I don't know what post it is, but I just got to find New York Traffic.
Yeah, from the 15 posts, New York Traffic
has already mushed you.
And apparently Baffert loves New York Traffic in this race, which does not fucking help me. I really like New York Traffic in this race. I think that he's that type of grindy run style. He reminds me a lot of the Derby winner from last year. The one and true Derby winner from last year in Maximum Security. Is going to be that kind of horse that he's just going to go out and he's just going to try. He's just going to grind. So if you guys are playing anything vertically, if you do not have New York Traffic, keyed in second and third, and possibly in first, I think that you are going to be in for a world of hurt. I'm going to try and beat Tiz the Law, probably to a fault. I'll probably end up using Tiz the Law as an A, along with New York Traffic, but I don't know. I just don't feel great about Tiz the Law at such a short price in this race. But like the other horse, originally when I took my first pass through this race, I had 2 A's, and one of them scratched in the 6 King Guillermo. Shout out to Mark and his future bet. So I really didn't have a great, my other option was what do I move 1,000 words up as an A? And that just didn't sound or feel right. And I just kind of I don't know, my whole body started kind of convulsing when I said that out loud. And then I think Caleb also messaged me something very nasty when I said that I was thinking about using 1,000 words as an A. So I think I'm going to stick with the 15 New York Traffic and the 17 Tiz the Law as my A's here. Horses that I'm actually not going to use, I don't think I'm going to use Honor AP anywhere. I don't know. I just don't like this horse. I don't think that this horse, I think that this horse is not going to, I guess I could see him kind of sucking up for third or something in this race, but as a second choice, I don't think that I like him as a second choice here, and I don't think he's going to present enough value to kind of make him anything other than maybe a C type or key him in third somewhere. The other horse.
You think Honor AP is going to be the second choice? Really?
Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely,
Really?
100%. Yeah, 100%. He's going to be the second choice.
No, he's not.
I
You think Authentic's going to be the second choice?
Yeah. Gentleman's way.
I have Authentic as a B. I like Authentic. I like Authentic way more than I like Honor AP in this race. I mean, Honor AP, like I said, I almost considered tossing him until I realized that a trifecta is first, second, and third. So I figure Honor AP could maybe suck up for third. I mean, that doesn't seem crazy, but yeah, I don't really like Honor AP in this spot. My B's in this race are two of the Baffert horses in 1,000 Words and Authentic in this race. So
Caleb has a really clever nickname for 1,000 Words. I can't remember what it is though.
Oh, 1,000 turds.
You know,
Yeah.
Just comedy gold right there.
You know, you guys, go ahead and talk about 1,000 Turds, but he also actually has the second highest buyer in this field, so he improved a lot. I don't think that he's going to get the same setup in the as he did in the last race, so I see him coming back down to earth. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up playing a pretty. I'll probably end up playing a pretty big exacta with Tiz the Law over New York Traffic, and probably run it back for a little bit less. I'll probably kind of Dutch that play a little bit, and then I'll probably go ahead and I'll play a try, keying the 15 and the 17 over a couple of these other horses. But yeah, I think the horse I'm most against in this race is going to be the 16 Honor AP. I think of the short horses, he's one that you can maybe use in third and fourth, but I don't think that if you're building some kind of try or super, I think you can toss him out a second. I think I would much prefer the two Baffert horses in New York Traffic as your second place horses if you're 100% set on Tiz the Law. And I think that of the horses I like to beat Tiz the Law, New York Traffic and probably 1,000 Words would be the two that I like more. But I probably just completely embarrassed myself, even though I was told that if I drank bourbon, I would not embarrass myself on stream. But I probably just said a bunch of words about New York Traffic that you guys absolutely hate. So, Chase, why don't you take this one now?
So I'm debuting what I call dirtbag hair because I haven't had a haircut since March, and when you slick it back, I look like I've graduated with a bachelor's in the carnival arts. To tell you, I've got a wise guy horse I'm going to play here. I'm actually kind of excited about it. Now, I say this knowing that Tiz the Law is the most logical, but I'm really excited about Money Moves. I'm very excited about Money Moves. The horse is really lightly raced compared to everyone else in the field. Only has 3 career starts. One includes his last race at Saratoga, where he had like a really bad start, but actually put up his best figure. The fact that Todd Pletcher got Castellano up for this one makes it pretty exciting. And I mean, it's not like it's not going to be a gigantic price and totally worth my while to make that play. Of course, I protect myself with Tiz the Law. I probably put a lot of verticals together with Tiz the Law, but I'm going to be looking heavily at Money Moves tomorrow. So start berating me now.
Yeah, I'll keep this super simple.
So Chase, you mean to tell me? No, okay. I really can't say anything. Go ahead, Mark.
I have nothing creative here. I'm gonna structure everything into Tiz the Law as an A, and my only B is gonna be Honor AP. I think Honor AP is the only other horse in here that can make an argument that he can get the distance, and I want most of my money going through Tiz the Law, probably 90 or 95%, because he's danced all the dance, he's walked all the walks, and nobody's been even competitive against him. He's just been an absolute monster. And his works have looked great going into this, and I don't find a chink in the armor, so I have a hard time trying to get around him. Honor AP is my only other horse that could take that next step forward and could get a little better. He's lightly raced, and they paid a lot for him. They thought a lot of him. I'm not going to get too creative beyond that. Quite honestly, the law is an A. I would use honor AP as a B, and I might, if I'm live to something nice in a pick 4 or pick 5, I might buy the back end of this race as a C. But I just don't really feel the need to get any more creative than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have everything going through Tis the Law. I'm not gonna have any B's, and I'm not going to have any C's. I think Tis the Law has proven time and time again that he is the best 3-year-old in the country. There hasn't been a horse get within 4 lengths of him at the finish line pretty much in his career. Draw a line through the one troubled trip he had as a 2-year-old in the slop when he was stuck on the fence the whole time and
got beat by Finnick the Fierce.
Well, he's awful. I'm sure he is very relieved that Finnick the Fierce is scratched because I'm sure he was concerned.
Finnick the Fierce is actually just Patch. It's Patch again.
Pretty much.
He's a one-eyed horse.
I mean, talk about a shitty draw for a horse with no right eye. But anyway, yeah.
At least Patch had a good eye facing the crowd, so he just thought like everyone was just there for him because he couldn't see all the horses to the inside of him.
Yeah.
Everyone's cheering for him. Great.
This race to me is so much more interesting vertically than horizontally. I'm not going to try to beat Tis the Law. If I was, it would be Honor AP. I don't think there's many other horses in here that are talented enough and can get the distance. Authentic, I think, is a super talented horse. I think he's incredibly distance limited. He's an also out of Into Mischief. We just saw what Gamine did trying 2 turns for Into Mischief today. I have no reason to think that Authentic's going to be any more successful going 1.25 miles when he was pretty much all out to hold off New York Traffic last time. I don't hate Josh's New York Traffic pick. I don't think it can win, but the horse just always kind of keeps coming. Very grinder-esque. Does kind of remind me of Maximum Security in a less talented version. So, I wouldn't mind that horse to hit the board underneath. I'm not going to play it on top. Same thing with Chase's Money Moves. I didn't like this horse when I first looked at it, but upon kind of glancing a little more in detail, this isn't a standard Kentucky Derby. You don't have a lot of graded stakes winners in here. You have some pretty bum horses. And I don't hate the fact that Connections took a shot here. I always like a horse pointed for a race more so than one thrown in as a consideration last minute. But on number power and whatever else, this horse isn't that far off. It has a cozy draw. It has some early speed in a race that doesn't have a ton of pace signed on. So I wouldn't hate the horse to round out a exacta or trifecta, but definitely not one I'm going to play on top, though. But yeah, I think this race is much more interesting from a vertical betting perspective because I really think a horse like maybe Sol Volante or Attachment Rate actually have a chance to hit the board. And I'll probably be playing most of my wagers King Tis the Law on top and trying to get Authentic out of the money and work in some of those longer priced horses like New York Traffic, Attachment Rate, and Sol Volante.
I think that South Bend can hit the board. If he can exit the Ohio Derby, kick a heroin habit, and make it to the Kentucky Derby, then 100% he can get into the trifecta or Supa or the Super.
The Supa, I prefer that.
Yeah. I put some flavor on it. I'm a little bit drunk. I'm going to be honest.
Kahlua getting to you, isn't it?
No, a bunch of whiskey and a couple of Yinglings.
Ooh, you mixed.
Mixing sauces, mixing drinks.
Sauces and a chase. We expect better.
Just for that, I'm putting my hat back on. Fuckers, you don't deserve dirtbag hair.
Well, I think, you guys really think that Tis the Law is going to win this at 3-5, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's like a 95, 98% kind of win horse. I just don't think every time I try to get around him, I don't. He's just too good, and I don't think he's ever actually been asked. So I think he's just much better than these. There's nothing that clues you into the fact that something's off. He's just better than these. Just is.
No concerns about Manny Franco?
No. I mean, if you have concerns about Manny Franco, did you not have the same concerns about Manny Franco the last 4 races? Or the two before that, like Manny gets the horse. Yeah, Manny's a low percentage jock, but obviously he's got a monster here, and even Manny can't fuck this up. So
I tell you what, if Tiz drew inside,
That's confidence that.
Yeah, agreed. If Manny drew inside, or if Tiz didn't, but Manny can sit outside and stalk. I don't think there's anything scary here.
What about our boy Murphy, aka Greg, with his big Oaks Derby double, where he got his 7 home in the first leg? She dares the devil, and his payout horse is Mr. Big News.
So he doesn't have money moves? That's a losing ticket.
No, he's got Mr. Big News.
I mean, I guess if it comes up wet and about 14 horses scratch.
I wish Murphy the best, and we all Murphy's the shit, and good for Murphy. But I think even Murphy knows he's got no shot in hell here. So,
all right, chat, we're gonna bullshit for a second while it catches up, but I want to know, how are you guys gonna attack this? All right, are you guys gonna attack this vertically, which I think is probably, I think we all 4 of us agree is probably the way to attack this. I mean, like, you got to use Tiz the Law horizontally, I think. Like, I'm not an idiot. Tiz the Law is going to be an A.
well,
I mean, I am an idiot because New York traffic's also going to be an A. But Tiz the Law is going to be an A. But chat, all right, we got a little bit here. We probably got about 10, 15 minutes or so. So what do you guys think? How are you guys going to play this? Are you going to play it horizontally? Are you just going to single Tiz and just be done with it? Are you going to try and play vertically? Are you going to play that 10-cent super? Like, what are you guys thinking here? And while that gives chat a little bit here to catch up, yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth, and I think I'll probably have a pretty big try with Tiz the Law on top, New York Traffic in second, and I think I'm going to use a bunch of these longer shots underneath, like Sol Volante, maybe Mr. Big News. I think even a horse like South Bend. I think South Bend can get up for second, or not for second, for third. And Max Player, shout out to 6421. Shout out to his. Does he have a future bet to this horse? I don't remember.
Yes, a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that I think you can use those kinds of horses underneath. I know noted TVG analyst and long shot picker. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name?
Ken Rudolph.
Ken Rudolph likes Enforceable in this race. If you've seen those annoying TVG ads, that actually Ken Rudolph isn't annoying, but I saw someone picking. Was it Megan Devine? I think was picking Tiz the Law, and it was just kind of like all this talk about chalk, which was kind of funny. But let's take a look here. I think chat's finally caught up. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so Dennis likes the 17 over 3, 7, 11, 14, and 16 exacta. I think that's going to be too many horses to make any money. It'll be interesting to see how.
The pool is so large on the Derby trifecta that if you hit it, you are probably going to make money. And it's probably going to be a good bit. Like, you can go back and look at it historically. Even with heavy chalk, you're going to, if you hit the Derby try, you make a good chunk of money.
Yeah, but it's favorite in front though. Like, I mean, I agreed it makes money, but does it make enough money to make it a smart play?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're putting Tiz on top and also working in Honor AP and Authentic underneath, I don't think it's worth playing. So I think you got to take your stand is like, does Tiz win, or can you get one of the two of Authentic and Honor AP to miss the board? And I think you can get at least one, if not both. So that's kind of my angle is how I'm going to attack it. I don't want to throw some bombs in there and have the wrong bombs. So I'm probably going to be like a 1x, 4x8 kind of trifecta strategy. Trying to get around Authentic and Honor AP. Really authentic. Honor AP, I may leave in there. I haven't decided.
Yeah, I think authentic. The only problem with authentic is I don't think he's gonna get things his way. I think he's gonna get enough pace pressure that that he's gonna run into a little bit of trouble. And I know like New York traffic, like if you're looking at Brisnet, he's marked as an E7, but I think that he'll like he's okay sitting a little bit off. I don't know about winning the race, but I think I'm gonna key him. Like I said, I'll key him in second under Tis the Law. I will have him as an A horizontally, but I think I would key him in second and try and save a little bit of money. And yeah, I think of the shorter of the two, I guess, quote unquote second choices of authentic and honor AP. I'm not really in love with either of them, so I think I'm gonna move to that third tier, like with like New York traffic and the other bat for 1,000 words. Kind of key those guys either in second or in third, and kind of let things the chips fall where they may, and only have maybe honor AP or authentic kind of hit that try.
I can't believe you're still betting 1,000 turds.
You're
After
nuts.
one race in a
Dude.
4-horse field, you're going to all of a sudden think he's a Kentucky Derby contender.
I'm not. I mean, I don't know about contender, but I think in second or third, I think he's fine.
I can't. Pomeroy's pistol on the bottom. That's pure sprint to me. I don't like him here, but I don't know.
I just put together a little trifecta, and I might even stretch into a super by repeating the second leg in the fourth. 7-17 with 2, 3, 5, 8, 12 with 7-17. Yeah. First, figure out which horses I'm talking about, and then
I have to look.
Dude, Papo, shout out to the Shake Up. If you guys don't watch him, he live streams a lot of Gulfstream, a lot of Turfway. Well, I don't know if he live streams Turfway Park, but he's a big Turfway Park player as well. He's in chat. He says 3 to 5 in a 16 horse field. Shoot me. I agree with you, Papo. That's why I love New York traffic. That's why I'm still going to use him as an A in this race. And yeah, I mean that fig for 1,000 words might be dressed up a little bit, but I mean it was a nice fig. I think there's another. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me pull up my buyer. I think no. I thought it was Necker Island was another horse that had a big fig, but I'm incorrect. There was another horse that kind of had like a surprisingly big figure in this race. Who was it? Maybe it was Chase's horse, Money Moves. Yeah, Money Moves is a 98. That was kind of surprised me from optional claiming race. Max Player has also got a 99, which is only a couple of points off the also rans in this race. I mean, Tis the Law's got that 109. That's probably some fuckery because there's no way that horse is that good. Or maybe he is. I don't know. I'm probably crazy and I'm just allergic to 3 to 5. Oh, Chase. Oh, Chase. Where did Caleb go? Oh, Caleb DC'd. Chase, do you see our boy the Shake Up calling you out there? Giving you a shout out. He gave you a shout out. He's like, nice call on Devil. And She Dares the Devil. Hope you stuck with her.
I did not. I made absolutely no. I should have learned way better from you, but I did not. I have what they call a learning problem. I wore a football helmet until I was 14, just because the doctors didn't think I could survive another,
Let's take a look at chat.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, let's take a look at chat real quick. So BJ says he likes 17 over 15 over 2, 12, 16, 18 try. Shout out to my boy BJ, who also likes New York traffic. Thank you very much. Looks like Polka Dot Taylor likes Honor AP, but I don't know if he really sees anything. A lot of people talking about the 10-cent super sucking. I kind of agree with
100%
them.
agree. It's bullshit. It's absolutely insane that they took the $1 super away, taking that leverage away from people and allowing people to just spread and make the pools more efficient, but removing that topside surprise of I have an opinion and I should get paid for it. It's absolute bullshit. I completely agree. I'm going to avoid it because fuck Churchill Downs.
I honestly, and this might be a hot take here. I think the pick 5 is fine at 50 cents. I think these jackpot pick 6s should move to 50 cents. If you're gonna keep them, I think move them to 50 cents, whatever. Like 20 cents. I don't know what the fuck 20 cents does. The super, especially for the Derby, I think should stay at $1. I know some tracks run 20-cent minimum, some tracks run 10-cent. I don't play the super, so I guess I can't really say much about them. I think the try, if the try moved to $1 and the exacta moved to $2 and win play show moved to $5 minimums, I think that we would see better odds on a lot of these horses. I mean, I know the computer still will knock the odds on some of these horses better, but I think if we raise these minimums just a little bit, not crazy, but move the win play show bet up to $5 or $4 maybe. Move the exacta to $2 and move the try to $1. I think we would see a little bit of juicier payouts with those. Because Mark, there's one thing that you mentioned a long time ago, or a couple months ago with Del Mar. You're like, man, these double payouts are great. Well, Del Mar's got a $2 minimum on the double. Look at Saratoga, look at any of the major tracks. Most of them have $1 minimum on the double. So I think these larger minimums, I know smaller bankroll players like myself, they'll be like, oh, well, raising the minimums locks us out. It's like, no, it makes you create your own hurdles, and it makes you make decisions, and I think it's just gonna juice payouts. I don't know what you guys think.
Completely agree. I think it makes you, as a player, stop playing. If it's a 10-card race, stop playing every race. Play your best opinions. This is not hard, and leverage those opinions when you have them. If you don't have an opinion, skip the race and watch it. Like, this isn't hard. Completely agree with Josh. I think minimums need to move back up, and it prevents this stupidness of, oh, I'll spread, and then catch these prices and offset payouts. It's bullshit.
I see Chase arguing, or are you arguing, or are you agreeing with the shakeup? I can't tell.
Agreeing. I don't argue with Pop. Me and Pop are simpatico. I don't speak Spanish, so tell me what I just said, Josh.
All right, so before we sign off here, take a look at the chat one last time. Looks like Matt doesn't agree with the win play show. That might be taken a little too far. I still think that like $1 minimum on like the pick 3 that Saratoga does helps juice payouts. I think $2 for the double, I think it makes sense. 4, 5, 6, I think 50 cents works fine. I know the 6 is usually 20 cents, but $5 win play show stops people showing up at the track. I don't know if that would have as big of an effect, but I mean, I guess the win play show we could keep at $2, but I know like the minimum bet for $2 has been set like that way for like, I think they said like 40 years or something, some crazy amount. So John saying there should be no jackpot pick 6. I agree. What there definitely shouldn't be is jackpot pick 5s, which I know Fairgrounds has and a couple other tracks have. Fuck that.
That is the worst bet in racing. The Black Fairgrounds pick 5.
Apparently Cardi B did a song called Money Moves. So
she did.
So and Daniel's pointing out that Money Moves improved running against older horses from a layoff. So
and he did that too. Listen, man, I got this Kool-Aid. You're gonna feel sleepy for a minute, but Crazy eyes. I'm fucking feeling it.
And then Papa said that the outside today. Yep, outside today. I know we were all pretty much in agreement that the rail was not good. I don't know if we were 100%. Hey, you have to be outside. But I know Papa. I saw you calling out the outside. So Matt Carlson saying Assiniboia pick 5 is the worst bet in racing.
Yes, it is.
Caleb, I have to ask because I'm just dying to know. Am I tailing you tomorrow? Is that why you went off camera?
No, unfortunately.
Damn it!
Just had foot surgery, so I'm on help me go to the bathroom duty.
Damn it! I thought we were fucking set. I was ready to fucking just tell everyone to just fuck everything we say. Listen to Caleb.
Forget about it. Just
we thought we were about to get handicapping gold. Turns out Caleb's gut hasn't adjusted to the Cajun food yet.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I guess we can wrap this up. So let's kind of go around real quick. Mark, I'll start with you. What's your bet? What are you attacking the most tomorrow?
Probably the late pick 5. Try to leverage that up, and I'll probably try to slam like a late pick 3, probably race pick, late pick 3, late pick 4, something like that. But yeah, probably late pick 5 is probably gonna be where I'm gonna have most of my focus on.
Chase.
I'm going to make a really strong daily double play right off the bat, races 8 and 9, where I'm going to single American Butterfly in the 8th, and then I'm going to play it into Rushy and into Tap It to Win. I can probably see myself doing a $20 double there, singling American Butterfly, and if I hit that, like, then it's fucking bombs away at like maybe like a $2 super, or $5, $10 trifecta in the Derby.
Caleb.
I haven't looked at any of the early races, like 1 through 8 or whatever. I don't know how they look, but out of the stuff we talked about, I'm probably going to chase the mandatory pick 6, which is probably not a good idea, given that race 10 kind of fucks everything up for me, where I have no opinion in the Iroquois. But I'll probably go after the pick 6 heavy. And then I'm definitely going to try some trifectas in the Derby itself, trying to leave out on AP and authentic and try to get Tiz the Law over a couple bombs.
Hell or high water, I'm going to be live to New York traffic in that last race. If I play pick 5 and I lose, I'm playing the pick 4 right back. Pick 3. And then worst case, I got a double. I'm going to be fucking live New York traffic no matter what. And I'm going to be very disappointed when New York traffic runs second. But hopefully I have a trifecta that will bail me out. But
you keep ignoring the fact that man buns, on average, cost horses 1 to 1.5 lengths. If you were just to take the fucking chopsticks out of his hair and let it fall, like Asmussen does, that horse would have a chance. But until that man bun is gone, New York traffic doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell.
Shout out to the country of Barbados. If you guys ever see me betting a Saffy horse, you see me posting that Barbados flag. Dennis Trusty loves money moves. Oh yeah, he loves money moves. Chase, you're fucked. Oh, Chase, you're being nice. You said you're allowed back. But, yeah. Sentinet's funny. He says he's going to play a ton of verticals with chalk and get salty when it doesn't work out. I love Sentinet's always funny on Discord because he's got the John Candy the John Candy avatar. What's the come on Kryptonite, what are you doing? Shout out to Kryptonite. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. We probably talked this sequence into death. I know I will be around pretty much all day. Chase was told that he's got a babysitter for all day tomorrow, so I know Chase will be around. Mark, I think, is going to be driving a little bit. Who knows what Caleb's going to be doing besides escorting his girlfriend to the bathroom. Yeah, we are on the wrong lead. Catch us at ontherwronglead.com. I know Caleb, you're at CalebWVU. Chase at Ovalclawn, justpickwinners.net. And then we got Mark at Two Turns. I'm at Cherry Drink. We will be on Discord most of the day. So if you guys got any questions, hit us up. Until then, we will catch you guys later.